Guys, we have breaking Star Wars news about the massive ship that Supreme Leader Snoke is going to be flying around in The Last Jedi, and maybe in Episode 9. I want to talk about it. What is up, YouTube? It's Josh. This is the Den of Nerds. Guys, we are rounding the bend towards a cacophony of Star Wars news as we head towards The Last Jedi. If you're finding this channel for the first time and you're a Star Wars fan, subscribe. I am a self-proclaimed Star Wars expert. I was at Celebration in Orlando. I collaborate with other Star Wars YouTubers. It's about to get real Star Wars up in here. But moving right along, happy Forced Friday, guys. I hope you're going out, getting some merch. I actually got my stuff a little bit early when I was in Chicago. I'm not supposed to say that, but I got some Forced Friday merch a little bit early. But go out, support the brand, get some dope Star Wars stuff. And one particular piece of merchandise actually gave us a big clue and a first look at the starship that Supreme Leader Snoke is going to be flying around in. So I want to break this to you guys. I want to break it down, talk about everything I know about it and what it might mean. So let's get right into it. So this comes from the Sphero app, which has these little droids. We had the BB-8, now we've got the BB-8 and the BB-9, which are the Imperial versions, and there's a different Rebel Alliance version of BB-8, and for the toys, I mean. And so on the Sphero app, it gives you access to all these different ships. Now, there is one for the Resistance, which I might cover in another video, but let's be real, it's all about Snoke up in here. That's what we're really concerned about. So we got a look at the Star Destroyer that Supreme Leader Snoke is going to be flying around in, and it's literally called the Supremacy. So, I mean, you know, kind of nail on the head with that one. Supreme Leader Snoke flies around in the Supremacy, but I'm going to put some of the images up here. The first thing you'll notice is that it's kind of oddly shaped. It's way longer, or I guess its wingspan is way bigger than the tip to nose length. So kind of an interesting design. Reminds me of the carrier that we saw in Rebels, which the Rebel Alliance gets, and they're carrying around all of their ships in there. And funny that it reminds me of that, because one of the things that this ship can do is literally house Star Destroyers. It's that big. How big, you ask? Well, let me tell you what. It's 60 kilometers in width. 60 kilometers? Guys, just to give you an idea of how big that is about 37 miles. And the Death Star, its radius was literally 160 kilometers. So this thing is literally almost half of the distance of the Death Star. I mean, that's ridiculous. This thing is like gigantic. This is also what Snoke has been flying around with and what he was projecting his hologram from in Episode 7. One of the things it says is that with victory being near, Supreme Leader Snoke is now bringing this thing into the known regions and flying around the galaxy with this thing. I mean, that's absolutely ridiculous. And as I said, it can house Star Destroyers. It can literally house Star Destroyers, fleets of TIE fighters. I mean, this thing seems just absolutely out of control. It is the only mega class Star Destroyer. Now, how much we're going to see this thing actually be flying around in The Last Jedi is yet to be determined. I think we will see it. And can you even imagine this thing flying up to a planet? I mean, just like the Death Star, when it comes out of hyperspace, this thing is just going to be instant intimidation. And I actually think it's possible that this ship could house a mega weapon that's on the level with the Death Star or with Starkiller Base. Now, there's something that really makes me think this, and this is in the movie Rogue One. While going through the Imperial records, there is mention of the Black Saber. Now, a lot of us, including myself, thought this was mention of the Dark Saber from Star Wars Rebels, but the Black Saber was actually something from the expanded universe, which was sort of just the gun from the Death Star that was flying around and causing all kind of havoc, destroying planets, and it was actually controlled by a Hutt, which is kind of crazy. But I mean, if this ship is that massive it's not outside of the realm of possibilities for this thing to have that kind of a weapon on it. On top of that, it has a freaking fleet of Star Destroyers. So I'm really hoping that we get to see this thing going around the galaxy. We know that the state of affairs in the galaxy at the beginning of The Last Jedi is going to be turmoil. And this is when Snoke needs to come in and make his move. He needs to convince these planets to join him. And man, pulling up in this thing is a pretty good way to make relations go much smoother. So that is what's going to be happening in the political sphere. You're going to have the resistance on one end, going around a planet saying we need to squash this beef, work together because Snoke is coming. And then Snoke will literally be coming and telling these planets, join us or we're going to destroy a lot of your planet and make things really bad for you. So that is it. But wow, what do you guys think about the Supremacy? Is this possibly the coolest ship you've ever seen in Star Wars? I mean, it's so different. It looks like a stealth bomber, man. I'm excited. And having this thing, I'm going to have this on my shelf. And I can't wait to learn more about this ship in the movie and as we get closer to The Last Jedi. So let me know in the comment section, what do you think about this ship? Is there anything about the ship that I missed? Please, more than willing to be informed by you guys. As I always say, I hope you are having an awesome and nerdy day. See ya!